I think sometimes when you're in the house, you kind of adjust to the perception of you that other housemates have rather than the outside world. So in a weird way, that becomes your reality. And it's because of I was experiencing such different roller coaster of emotions. I thought that the public would have the same relationship with me where we're not quite sure where I stand. But coming out to the public and seeing that I'm so understood, I'm seen for who I am, that was very shocking to me. That was overwhelming, the support that I had. I realized that actually I'm very graceful. I mean, I was thinking this whilst I was in a house, but also coming out to then see other people repeat that to me, it kind of validated me because I had a lot to work on as a person, especially like my patience, and being in that house feeling tested a lot, but still like taking my time before reacting, thinking about things, talking it out, crying it out. It's also taught me how much more I need to be open with my vulnerability. I think that's one thing I really struggled with, and I made it very clear. Always been known as a strong Black woman, you tend to want to uphold that image of strength, and then you realize that you're kind of robbing yourself of actual support because you're not showing up as vulnerable, and then people end up catering to everyone else. So that's been a big lesson for me to show how vulnerable I am feeling, the vulnerable state that I am in. So that's something that I'm constantly reminding myself that actually I've got to be open with my vulnerability. I think I was surprised about me being one of the favorites, to be honest. I wasn't quite sure that I'll be perceived differently on the outside. So to come out and see that I'm actually one of the favorites, it's been really humbling. I've been so overwhelmed since I've left that it's been quite difficult. Not just overwhelmed with everything that's happening, but also I'm a mum to a little boy, an autistic boy. So I know bits and bobs, but I haven't been able to like watch everything. I still haven't watched a lot of what I was in myself. I think there's a part of me, I like to think of myself as a mirror when I interact with people. I like to show up as a mirror so that you can see yourself and I can see myself. And I think for the first time, I looked in the mirror and I saw in myself the people that I criticize. I think with the internet, when you express a view, especially back then, you express a view and then you're done, you move on from it. And then maybe you learn, you change, you challenge yourself, you gain different experiences. You don't get to go back and elaborate on that view. It's sort of just those thoughts that are left there and they're left in the past. And so you almost even forget that you had those thoughts because as you change, you're so in tune with who you are today that you don't think about the comments and how you maybe perpetuated oppression of others or perpetuated stereotypes. And then when you look back at it, because I was so into now and who I am, it was a shock to look at some of those tweets. Naturally, I felt defensive to think, no, I didn't write that. And one of the things I did is I copied and pasted some of the tweets to see if it'll come up on my Twitter. And when I realized it did, honestly, I was literally devastated. I can't explain the embarrassment I felt. I can't explain the embarrassment I still feel. I can't explain the fact that one day I'm going to have a conversation about my son with stuff like that. And I've always planned on having conversations with him about these important topics because I'm very passionate about social changes. I'm very passionate about standing up for marginalized groups. And now I'm conscious that the conversation I'm going to have with him is going to have to look a little bit different. Now it's going to have to be like, actually, I have also been complicit in kind of like perpetuating views that are very hurtful for others. It's been a mirror to me because it's highlighted that actually, as I teach people, I came from a place of being taught. I'm really grateful at how people have received my apology, because when you're writing an apology like that, you're almost conscious that it almost doesn't matter why you did what you did. You're just sorry. I think explaining is almost justifying it, because you just look back at some tweets and you're like, there are no explanations for this. There are no excuses for this. It just shouldn't have happened. I've been getting support from the welfare team anyway. I was getting support since I was in the house. I mean, since before the house, actually, we get prepped and we get offered support. And then even in the house at moments where things got quite tough, I can sense that there is a sense of support reaching out to me. But I also don't know what this is supposed to look like. You know, like you said, this is the first time I'm kind of experiencing something like this. I don't know how I'm supposed to navigate it. I'm getting a lot of support from my family and friends, my loved ones, people who know me reaching out to me. I've also got a trans brother who's been very supportive towards me, you know, just like affirming me and reminding me of who I am. I'm very conscious that this is a conversation I'm going to have with a lot of people who are in those marginalized groups that are hurt by the comments that I had made in the past. I'm going to have a conversation with Yinran. I'm going to have a conversation with Jordan, Henry, Matty. I'm going to have a conversation with all of them, actually, because as I said, you write something and you move on from it and you develop so much that you're no longer aligned with even thinking or having those thoughts in your head, that when it comes back it's such a shock, and you have to think about the people that it does affect in your life. And I'm ready to have that conversation. I'm not going to shy away from it, because hopefully I could rely on the fact that they know my heart, they know who I am.